Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to begin with American literature and our focus is going to be on Sandra Cisneros, The House on the Mango Street. I'm not going to tell you any kind of summary here. Our focus will be on the major themes that are often asked or the major questions that are often asked in your semester exams. One of those questions are that how Esperanza Cordero, our protagonist, emerges as different, how she is different from the other people living in the mango street, or if the question regarding the condition of the woman is asked, you can again take up the points from the video that from this video, and you can make your answer. And I will attach the notes in the comment section. I'll pin it. So let's begin. We'll start by introducing Sandra Cisneros. When we talk about Sandra Cisneros, we say that she was a Mexican American or Chicana writer. She was also a poet, essayist, and novelist. And her works were often known for giving voice to the experiences of Latino women, as she has done in the novel that we are going to talk about later or in this video. And she talks about immigrants, working class families, and people living between two cultures, as she herself belongs to Mexican and American, both cultures. And if we talk about the age that she was writing, it was late 20th and early 21st century when minority voices in America were gaining attention. Along with this, feminist movements were also questioning gender inequality. And Cisneros was the one who used literature to represent the people who were often ignored in the mainstream American writing. And if we talk about her major works includes The House on the Mango Street, Caramello. These two are her famous novels. And we talk about one of her poetries you can write. It is Loose Woman. And if we talk about the themes that her works often deals with are, Cisneros often writes about the women who are trapped by patriarchal society, by marriage, poverty, or traditional gender roles. And this theme can be seen in our novel that we are going to talk about, The House on the Mango Street. And we see that how her female characters often struggle for independence, education, and personal identity. That is the same case with Esperanza Cordero. So many characters, if we talk about her works often show many characters who are in a struggle with this conflict between Mexican culture and American culture. Okay, I'll say that in American literature you will see in the second year you will see that how writers belong to different or two cultures, and then they try to represent their opinions or their culture through their writing. Okay, and I am telling you about Sandra Cisneros so that you can write about her in the examination as well. Do not start with your answer abruptly, just give a brief introduction about the writer as well. Okay, so now let's begin with the question that I was talking about, that how Esperanza Cordero appears to be different or emerges as different from the other people of the mango street, in the mango street. Okay, क्वेश्चन किसी भी तरीके से आ सकता है आपको, बट आपको बस ध्यान रखना है कुछ पॉइंट्स, एंड देन यू कैन अकॉर्डिंगली आपने जितना आपको खुद आता है इन पॉइंट्स को रिवाइज करके यू कैन मेक योर ओन आंसर. सो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट the novel. When we talk about Esperanza Cordero, we say that Esperanza Cordero is the narrator, protagonist, or the central character of the novel. She is a young Latina girl growing up in poor Hispanic neighborhood in Chicago. It is basically a brief introduction if you want to write about it. Like थोड़ा सा background देने के लिए it is a good start. So you can talk about that Esperanza Cordero is the protagonist, and then you can talk about that you need to write that she's a young Latino or Latina girl, because वही तो represent किया जा रहा है by Sandra Cisneros. She's representing the struggle of these people. And then you can talk about that how Esperanza in the house on the mango street feels different from the people and environment around her. Why? Because she is not satisfied with the traditional life expected from the girls in her community. Her difference lies in her awareness, sensitivity, and determination to escape poverty and gender restrictions. सबसे important part है कि वो different थी ही क्यों? Because she was ashamed of being poor, and moreover she did not really want कि वो उसकी लाइफ भी वैसी हो जाए जैसे वो आस पास अपनी देख रही है, like the women. इफ़ वी टॉक अबाउट द कंडीशन ऑफ वुमेन, जो मैंने क्वेश्चन बताया था आपको, तो जो कंडीशन वो दूसरी औरतों की देख रही है, शी डज नॉट वॉन्ट टू रिपीट दैट लाइफ. Okay, so two things are important here. Why she appears different from other people? Because she wants to escape poverty and gender restrictions. Okay, so you will give introduction. पहले आप बताओगे सेंट्रल सिस्नारोस के बारे में, फिर आप बताओगे एस्पेरेंजा कॉर्डेरो के बारे में, थोड़ी सी ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शन, एंड देन यू कैन टॉक अबाउट द क्वेश्चन कि क्यों वो डिफरेंट है. Because she does not want to live the traditional life that is expected from the girls in her community, and what makes her different, उसकी awareness, उसकी sensitivity और उसकी determination to escape the poverty and gender restrictions. Okay, so unlike others, Esperanza dreams of a different life. She observes the problem of women who are trapped in unhappy marriages, poverty, violence, lack of opportunities. So the experience of the other women around her makes her realize that she does not want to repeat the same life. If we talk about the novel is written in short poetic chapters called vignettes. एंड ये भी इम्पॉर्टेंट है थोड़ा, क्योंकि अगर आप थोड़ा ये मेंशन करोगे तो आपको आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग समझ आएगी कि ओ यू नो अबाउट इट. सो इट इज़ रिटन इन शॉर्ट चैप्टर्स कॉल्ड विग्नेट्स. अगर आपको याद रहता है, क्योंकि आपने देखी होगी, अगर आपने नॉवल पढ़ी नहीं है तो आपको ऐसे देखी तो होगी ना कभी कि उसमें छोटे छोटे से चैप्टर्स में डिवाइडेड है वो, तो एटलीस्ट यू कैन मेंशन अबाउट इट. सो ये जो छोटे छोटे से चैप्टर्स में वो डिवाइडेड है, इट इज़ बिकॉज these small episodes show Esperanza's emotional and psychological growth. ओके, सो कमिंग ऑफ एज नॉवल भी आप इसको बोल सकते हो, क्योंकि थ्रू आउट वो एक यंग लैटिना गर्ल से शी ग्रोज साइकोलॉजिकली and emotionally as well. So when we talk about Esperanza, so we see that Esperanza is different because she does not accept Mango Street as her final destiny. She dreams not only about a house but a home. Her dream is not only that she wants a house, but her dream is to own a home. What is the difference between house? House होता है कंक्रीट, एक आपको बस एक दीवार और एक छत मिल चुकी है, लेकिन होम होता है where you get freedom, self respect, identity, independence. So home here symbolizes all these features. So that's why you can mention that she does not want a house, rather she wants a home that symbolizes freedom, self-respect, identity, and independence. So when we talk about the opening chapter, the house on the mango street, so you see that she feels ashamed of her small, tethered, and the broken house that she mentions about. And she starts comparing it with the beautiful house she once imagined in her head. And the most people, the part that you're going to compare is that the most people around her, they accepted poverty as unavoidable. The people around her were fine, like they accepted their fate, like this poverty is unavoidable. But Esperanza was different because she refused to do so. She refused to accept that poverty is unavoidable. And then we talk about the other point, that is the most important point, and then that you can write in the question if it is asked about any woman or the conditions of women or any feminist aspect of this novel, that how Esperanza questions the traditional gender roles. Okay, so we say that Esperanza notices how women in her community or in her neighborhood are controlled by men and they're confined to the houses. So we may give examples from the novel. You are going to take the references. So Esperanza realizes that many women lose their freedom after marriage. Okay, so talking about the references, now you can talk about the vignette. जब आप किसी पर्टिकुलर विगनेट की बात करते हो, जैसे हमने पहले की बात करी दैट इन द ओपनिंग चैप्टर क्या है, द हाउस ऑन द मैंगो स्ट्रीट, ये तो आप याद रख सकते हो कि ओपनिंग चैप्टर में उसने एक हाउस के बारे में बात करी है जो ब्रोकन है एंड शी फील्स अशेम्ड, उसको कंपेयर कर रही है विद द इमेजिन्ड ब्यूटिफुल हाउस। दूसरे में जब आप बात करते हो तो आप फिर से लिख सकते हो दैट इन द विगनेट एक और विगनेट आता है जहाँ पे वो स्पेसिफिकली वुमेन की कंडीशन के बारे में बात करती है, दैट इज Rafaela who drinks coconut and papaya juice on Tuesdays. Now she talks about you can give the references of the woman in her community or surrounding or neighborhood. So Rafaela's husband locks her indoors because he fears that she may run away. फर्स्ट एग्जाम्पल इज रफेला, जिसका हस्बैंड उसे अंदर ही लॉक करके रखता है बिकॉज ही फियर्स दैट शी मे रन अवे एंड देयरफॉर वो क्या करती है कि थ्रू विंडोज़ वो बच्चों को बुला के ऑन ट्यूसडेज शी ड्रिंक्स कोकोनट एंड पपाया जूस। ओके, सेकेंड इज, इतना डिटेल नहीं देनी है, बस यू नीड टू टेक द एग्जाम्पल ऑफ रफेला दैट हाउ हर हस्बैंड लॉक्स हर इनसाइड द हाउस because of his fear that she may run away. Okay, second is Minerva. You can give an example of Minerva, that how she suffers abuse from her husband but she cannot leave. She is stuck in this marriage. Third is Sally. When we talk about Sally, Sally marries early. It was her decision to marry early in order to escape her father's violence. But the sad part is that the marriage itself becomes another prison. So you can talk about three examples are enough. About we talked about Rafaela, then we talked about Minerva, then we talk about Sally. जब आप रफेला के बारे में बात करोगे तो आप बोलोगे कि उसके हस्बैंड ने उसको अंदर लॉक कर लिया था बिकॉज ही फियर दैट शी मे रन अवे. मिनर्वा सफर्ड अब्यूज एंड शी वॉज हेल्पलेस एंड शी कुडंट लीव हिम. थर्ड आता है सैली, उसका पर्सनल डिसीजन था टू गेट मैरिड. शी, अब देखो यहाँ पे आप उसकी वो दिखाओगे कि हाउ हेल्पलेस अ वुमन इन हर कम्युनिटी इज़ बिकॉज शी थॉट दैट द एस्केप इज़ मैरिज. In order to get away from her father's violence, she got married, and she ultimately marriage also turned into a failure because it was another prison. Therefore, when Esperanza Cordero observed these women, she understood the limitations that were placed upon women. Therefore, these incidents or these observations made her determined in order to own her own space and have her own identity other than getting married or having a man in life. Then we talk about her other important feature, that is that she was sensitive as well as self-aware. Esperanza is more thoughtful and emotionally aware than many other children or the people of her age or of her community. How? Because she was the one who was noticing inequality, humiliation, loneliness, and suffering around her. Why other people were fine? The other people were thinking that poverty is unavoidable. The women in her neighborhood or in her community were thinking that this marriage or these gender restrictions or the limitations that were being placed upon them is unavoidable. But on the other hand, Esperanza was the one who noticed all these and wanted to escape, and therefore you call her different from others. Therefore you say that she was very mature, she was becoming mature, and she was sensitive and self-aware because you can give this reference that in the novel she explains how outsiders feared her neighborhood and there were stereotypes regarding the people living in the house on the mango street. Therefore, Esperanza was smart enough to understand social discrimination and prejudice. अब क्या होता है, जनरल सा नोशन है कि नॉर्मली, आई डोंट नो इफ यू हैव सीन इट और नॉट, but KK creates, she made one video, railway slums पे थी I guess. So there was this teacher who used to teach, I guess tuitions लेते होगे वो, and she used to go, and जब उन्हें अच्छी इनकम मिल रही थी, but when she mentioned that she is from that particular area, she was being judged for that, and उनकी उस स्किल की जो उनको पेमेंट दी जा रही थी वो भी कम करने की बात कर दी गई. वाई? जस्ट बिकॉज देयर वॉज दिस notion that she comes from this particular area and she deserves this much. उनकी पूरी स्किल, उनकी पूरी नॉलेज, उनका पूरा व्यक्तित्व पे एक क्वेश्चन मार्क चला गया. सो दिस इज़ व्हाट शी इज सेइंग. सो आप देखो, एक छोटे से बच्चा, शी वॉज जस्ट अ यंग गर्ल बट शी हैड दिस सेंसिटिविटी इन हर. शी वॉज सो मच अवेयर ऑफ द डिस्क्रिमिनेशन एंड prejudice. She understood that the people, that the outsiders, they feared her neighborhood. Feared her neighborhood मतलब है कि लोग डरते हैं उन लोगों से, उन लोगों से के पास आने से हेजिटेट करते हैं. एंड एक स्टीरियोटाइप है जुड़ा हुआ, प्रेजुडाइस है, डिस्क्रिमिनेशन जुड़ी हुई है उसके नेबरहुड के लोगों के लिए. एंड she, of course, she feels ashamed of her poverty, but she gradually learns. In the novel, she gradually learns to value her cultural identity. So we say that her self-awareness makes her um, mature and different from the others who accept their situation simply. So this is what makes her mature, and she's not like others who's just simply accepting what is happening in her life. Rather, she is self-aware and mature, and she is trying to understand that why this is happening and how can I escape this. Okay, so there was some kind of disturbance, I'm sorry. So let's continue. Then we talk about the most important thing, that she loves writing and language. So when we talk about the thing that liberated her, ये क्वेश्चन भी आ जाता है कि how writing liberated Esperanza Cordero. This is also one of the question that is mostly asked कि किस तरीके से writing liberated, और education, basically writing ही आता है, writing liberated Esperanza Cordero. So you can write this point. So we say that writing becomes Esperanza's way of expressing herself as well as escaping hardship. राइटिंग ही एक तरीका थी जिससे उसने खुद के बारे में, खुद के कम्युनिटी के बारे में वो लिख सकती थी. एंड वो इस हार्डशिप से, वो इस जजमेंटल नेबरहुड से जहाँ पे एक वुमेन को रिस्ट्रिक्ट किया जाता है एंड एक पुअर एरिया से निकल कर खुद की लाइफ बेटर कर सकती थी. सो Esperanza was the one who understood the power of words and imagination. And when we talk about this vignette, that is in Bums in the Attic. So in this particular vignette, she imagines herself as a writer, and she imagines that she has her own house and she has become a writer and she's helping others. Her goal is to become a writer, have a home that she says, have her own home without a man in that house, and where she can help others. So in the end of the novel, she quotes this line which you can write, although I'll put it in the notes. I put it down on paper and then the ghost does not ache so much. So you can quote this. And therefore we may say that writing helps her to understand herself, heal the emotional pain and create her own identity. सबसे important, writing काम किस लिए है? क्योंकि इससे वो खुद की पेन को दिखा सकती है. ये एक तरीके का escape हो सकता है from those gender restrictions, from the poverty itself. और वो खुद को जान सकती है, खुद की community को जान सकती है. She'll not judge that community. She'll try to understand कि उन्हें क्या नहीं मिला जिसकी वजह से वो वैसे बने. Okay, so writing or education helps in that. Next important point is that she rejects passivity. Esperanza is not passive. Even though she is a young girl, she is the one who wants to control or have full control over the future. She does not wish to depend on men or marriage like the other women, like we gave the example of Sally. Rather, she wants education and independence. That is the thing that makes her different. Rather than other women like Sally, who thought of escaping her father's abuse or violence, and she thought that the only escape could be marriage. Whereas Esperanza, on the other hand, thinks that education and independence is the only way that can take her away from this poverty and gender restrictions. So her dreams are ambitious as compared to the limited expectations of the girls in the Mango Street, because all they wanted was a man or a marriage, which is not wrong. See, I think all our thoughts are shaped कहीं ना कहीं पेट्रियार्की का इतना ज़्यादा इन्फ्लुएंस हो जाता है कि बचपन से एक चीज़ पढ़ाई जा रही है, बताई जा रही है, एजुकेशन ही नहीं है, अवेयरनेस ही नहीं है, तो आपके लिए वही सच है. So it is not their fault, it is deep engraved in their conscious, subconscious, unconscious minds. So they are bound by that. But Esperanza, on the other hand, was the one who wanted education and independence in order to change her life. And this rebellious attitude of Esperanza makes her different from many female characters in the novel. Then, the most important aspect of the novel is that she had the sense of belonging and she wanted to escape the same Mango Street. Okay, Esperanza both loves and dislikes Mango Street because she feels emotionally connected with the people of Mango Street, but she also wants to escape the poverty and the restrictions of the neighborhood. दोनों दो राहें में है वो. She loves the people of the Mango Street, but she wants to escape the poverty and the restrictions that they put on girls or women. The conflict makes her a complex and a mature character. And because it is always mature people जो दो चीज़ों के बीच, moral society, इन चीज़ों के बीच फंसे रहते हैं. So that's the difference. And then we talk about the most important aspect of the novel, that towards the end of the novel, she promises that even if she leaves Mango Street, she will return for the people who cannot escape. अगर वो चली भी जाती है, that's why she says, even if she leaves Mango Street, even if she has a house of her own, she will use her writing in order to show the pain, or show to give the identity to the community, to her community, to the people of Mango Street. And therefore she says that even if she goes out, she will come for those who have not escaped. She was the one who took the charge, who could go out, but those who never went out, she will take a stand for them, she will come back for them in order to to take them along. कहीं वो रेस में पीछे ना छूट जाए, कहीं उसकी कम्युनिटी ना छूट जाए. सो इट शोज दैट शी इज़ नॉट सेल्फिश. हर डिफरेंस, जो भी हम उसके डिफरेंस के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, दैट शी इज़ डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द पीपल ऑफ अ कम्युनिटी, डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द पीपल ऑफ द मैंगो स्ट्रीट, दिस डिफरेंस डज नॉट मेक हर सेल्फिश. रादर शी जस्ट वॉन्ट्स पर्सनल फ्रीडम. But along with this, she wants her community to come along with her, to so we may say that her care for her community is deeply shown towards the end of the novel. So if we talk about this novel, we may say that Esperanza Cordero struggles to define who she is as a young Latina girl in the beginning, and the most important part is that she refuses to let society decide her future. Then we talk about so first point, if we talk about the theme, is search for identity. That in the beginning she was struggling to define who she is. She was ashamed of that house. She did not really want to be associated with Mango Street, but eventually she learns to respect her culture, and she deeply cares for her community. She developed love for that community, and therefore she said that she wants to come back even if she escapes, or even if she leaves Mango Street. Then we talk about second most important thing that we see in the novel, that is feminism. How Sandra Cisneros criticizes the patriarchal control over women. You can give the examples of Rafaela, Minerva, Sally, and अगर आप और भी references देना चाहते हो तो आप वो भी दे सकते हो. Esperanza feels the pain of economic hardship and the social shame. Sandra Cisneros has beautifully shown कि किस तरीके से economic hardship, गरीब होना is also a tough task, पैसा ना होना, poor होना. What do you think? People do not really uh, treat these people with respect. For those of you who have psychology या कभी पढ़ी होगी या थोड़ा बहुत फिलोसफी साइकोलॉजी लिटरेचर के स्टूडेंट्स हो के भी, यू नो कि आपने देखा होगा कि सच पीपल हु डू नॉट हैव मनी, हाउ दे आर ट्रीटेड. आप इन जनरल मिडिल क्लास फैमिलीज़ में ही देख लो, किसी के पास पैसा नहीं है तो उसकी इज्जत भी नहीं है, किसी दूसरे के पास पैसा ज़्यादा है या फिर उसी इंसान के पास कभी पैसा आ जाता है तो उसकी इज्जत होने लग जाती है. सो द शेम दैट कम्स अलॉन्ग विद द इकोनॉमिक हार्डशिप इज शोन थ्रू दिस नॉवल, एंड एस्पेरेंजा Cordero beautifully understands this as a young girl who has turned into a mature person. And then we talk about the most important part, that is fourth part, that writing here becomes the means of liberation and self-expression for Esperanza Cordero. So 4 important things that you need to remember is यहाँ पे सर्च फॉर आइडेंटिटी थी, बिकॉज वो नहीं चाहती थी कि उसकी लाइफ भी और वुमेन की तरह हो जाए. एंड दूसरा, फेमिनिज्म का बहुत बड़ा एस्पेक्ट है पूरी नॉवल में. थर्ड, आप बात कर सकते हो कि हाउ ब्यूटिफुली शी हैज़ शोन द हार्डशिप्स, इकोनॉमिक हार्डशिप्स ऑफ द पीपल और शेम जो उसके साथ एसोसिएट होती है. एंड फाइनली, राइटिंग किस तरीके से लिबरेट कर सकती है, एजुकेशन किस तरीके से लिबरेट करती है एस्पेरेंजा कॉर्डेरो को. सो when we talk about Sandra Cisneros, she has drawn symbolism as house in the novel symbolizes identity, security, freedom, dreams. Question आ जाता है कभी कभी about the broken tinted house that is shown in the first vignette, the house on the mango street. ठीक है, तो आप उसमें ये बताओगे कि किस तरीके से house is also a symbol. पहले house was a symbol of shame. जब स्टार्टिंग में एस्पेरेंजा कॉर्डेरो shows that house, she was ashamed of that house, and she felt that she compared that house with the beautiful house she once imagined. तो house कहीं ना कहीं वो जो ये टूटा हुआ घर था, उसने उसे एक thought, एक seed डाला that she wants something better in life. एम्बेरसमेंट ही नहीं होती, इफ़ शी वुड हैव नॉट बीन अशेम्ड, तो कहाँ से चेंज आता. तो हाउस कहीं ना कहीं से सिम्बलाइज करता है उसकी आइडेंटिटी को. दैट हाउस became a reason of shame because it was associated with her identity. Then she realized that she wanted a house. एक हाउस तो ये हो गया जहाँ पे उसे that was related with shame. दूसरा हाउस that she imagines is of जहाँ पे कोई मेन ना हो, जहाँ पे शांति हो, जहाँ सिक्योरिटी हो, जहाँ उसको फ्रीडम मिले, दैट हाउस. तो ये हाउस 2 तरीके की सिंबलिज्म है. अगर हाउस के ऊपर आता है तो आप पहले उस हाउस के बारे में बताते हो, फिर थ्रू आउट द स्टोरी के जो भी हुआ है वो बताओगे. एंड हाउस एक और एस्पेक्ट में इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि किस तरीके से वुमेन इन द नॉवल आर कन्फाइंड टू द हाउसेस. उन 4 दीवारों के अंदर हाउस बिकम्स a prison for the women of the community because they all are either beaten or abused or they are locked inside those houses. तो एक ये भी हो सकता है. एक तीसरी रेफरेंस मैं दे देती हूँ, बट मैंने उसके बारे में बात नहीं करी है. फॉर दोज ऑफ यू, अगर आपने रीड करा है नॉवल को तो आपको थोड़ा आइडिया होगा. एक एस्पेक्ट, एक इसमें इंसिडेंट आता है ऑफ एस्पेरेंजाज ग्रैंड मदर सिटिंग बिसाइड्स दिस विंडो, और वो बाहर देख रही होती है. एंड शी सेज दैट आई डू नॉट वॉन्ट टू लिव हर लाइफ. वो क्योंकि ऑल हर लाइफ शी वॉज जस्ट सिटिंग बिसाइड्स दैट विंडो वॉचिंग आउट एंड डूइंग नथिंग. शी वॉन्ट्स फ्रीडम इन लाइफ. तो हाउस उस कंटेक्स्ट में भी आप बता सकते हो अगर आपको रेफरेंस देनी है. एंड अगर हाउस पे क्वेश्चन आता है तो आप ये कुछ रेफरेंसेस दे के बाकी के पॉइंट्स ऐड करके जो भी पॉइंट्स होते हैं यू कैन मेक योर आंसर. देन वी टॉक अबाउट दैट हाउ Sandra Cisneros uses first person narration in the novel as story is told directly through Esperanza's voice. Why? So that it makes her feelings very authentic and personal. जब एस्पेरेंजा दिखाती है अबाउट हर कम्युनिटी, वी connect with her, we relate with her. That's why it is written in first person narration. And इसके अलावा if you want to add some critical view कि critiques का क्या कहना है about this novel, so you may add that बहुत सारे critiques इस novel को feminist work कहते हैं because it explores how a women in the mango street suffered under patriarchy. Women like Sally, Rafaela, Minerva, Marine, they were all trapped by abusive fathers, either by abusive fathers, controlling husbands, early marriages, or lack of freedom. Therefore, it was Esperanza who observed all these women and decided that she will not live the same life, and she refused the traditional role that is forced upon women and she seeked for independence, she seeked for education. So बहुत से critics ये भी कहते हैं that this novel, देखो critics है या फिर आप critical view पढ़ते हो तो आपको एक डीप अंडरस्टैंडिंग मिलती है. कभी कभी क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस भी आ जाता है नॉवल का. तो अदर देन द नॉवल, अदर देन द पॉइंट्स, अदर देन द थीम्स, आपको थोड़ा एक अपना पर्सपेक्टिव भी होना चाहिए, अपना एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग होगी और थोड़ा क्रिटिक्स का व्यू भी होता है, तो यू कैन राइट इट बेटर. So, if we talk about some other critiques, we may say that critiques argue that Cisneros humanizes the people living in poverty. Of course, she has shown them that they are also humans. उसने एक एस्पेक्ट दिखाया है, जैसे हमने अभी बात करी थी एस्पेरेंजा की, that how people treat them as different, people treat them as aliens, people fear from the neighborhood of Esperanza and एक स्टीरियोटाइप इमेज बनी हुई है वहाँ के लोगों की. तो वही चीज़, शी इज़ ट्राइंग टू ह्यूमनाइज देम, दैट दे आर ऑल्सो ह्यूमन्स, दे ऑल्सो हैव लाइफ, दे ऑल्सो हैव डिग्निटी. ओके, so she is somehow trying to give dignity to their experience. Esperanza is shown to be growing up in a poor Hispanic neighborhood in Chicago. So she is representing a poor woman, a poor girl. तो कहीं ना कहीं सेंड्रा सिस्नारोस का जो मेन मोटिव ये भी है टू ह्यूमनाइज दोज पीपल एंड उन्हें डिग्निटी देना, एक हार्श रियलिटी दिखाना दैट हाउ वी एज सोसाइटी ट्रीट द पीपल हु आर पुअर. ओके, एंड इट इज़ अशेम कहाँ से हो रहे हैं लोग. एस्पेरेंजा अशेम क्यों हुई व्हेन शी वाज आस्क्ड दैट यू लिव देयर, तुम यहाँ रहती हो. देयर इज दिस इंसिडेंट आई गेस इन द बिगिनिंग that she I don't remember अभी किस who asked her, please check it out. मुझे नहीं याद आ रहा है प्लीज़, अभी मेरे पास सच वो रेफरेंस के लिए नॉवल नहीं पढ़ी है, तो you just check it out that when she's asked that is it your house, जब वो बार बार रेपिटेटिवली उससे पूछा जाता है, then she realizes, then she feels ashamed. शर्म कहाँ से आ रही है? इट इज़ बिकॉज ऑफ द सोसाइटी, इट इज़ बिकॉज ऑफ अस पीपल, जो इन पुअर लोगों को कहीं ना कहीं साइड लाइन करते हैं. वी मेक देम फील एम्बेरस्ड ऑफ देयर सिचुएशन, ऑफ देयर लाइफ. And therefore, next what we can talk about that how Sandra Cisneros, if we talk about her style, Sandra Cisneros style of writing this novel is very unique because she does not write in a regular tone, और या फिर बड़े बड़े चैप्टर्स में नहीं, छोटे छोटे विग्नेट्स में बांटा हुआ है. इसीलिए कहीं ना कहीं वो इमोशनल ग्रोथ दिखाते हैं पूरे तरीके से. स्टार्टिंग में हाउस से कैसे एम्बेरसमेंट थी, किस तरीके से वुमेन का एक एस्पेक्ट अलग से दिखाया गया है, एंड किस तरीके से एक और राइटिंग का एस्पेक्ट अलग से दिखाया गया है. सो हर राइटिंग स्टाइल इज़ डिफरेंट. शी हैज़ डिवाइडेड हर वर्क, और हर with each chapter we see the emotional growth or the psychological growth of our character or protagonist Esperanza. So writing here becomes the tool of survival, healing and freedom for Esperanza Cordero. And as I told you in the very beginning, that the novel is a modern buildings roman, as it is a story about the emotional and psychological growth. And throughout the novel, Esperanza changes from an innocent child to a mature young girl who is aware of the social realities. And towards the end, we see that she has fully gained self-awareness and the purpose of her life. We can praise Sandra Cisneros for presenting Latino women realistically rather than showing or using stereotypes in order to present them. In conclusion, we may say that The House on the Mango Street is a powerful coming of age novel, and it presents the emotional, social, and psychological growth of Esperanza throughout the novel. So, this is all for this particular theme or question, if it is asked that how Esperanza is different, and if a particular aspect of house is asked, तो आप उसमें मैंने आपको बताया कि आप क्या क्या यूज़ कर सकते हो. फेमिनिज्म पे क्वेश्चन आया तो आप क्या रेफरेंसेस दोगे. अगर कंडीशन ऑफ वुमेन पे आया है तो आप क्या कर सकते हो, क्या रेफरेंसेस दे सकते हो. यू कैन राइट अबाउट दैट, and that's all. In case you want me to make video on specific question or anything like in on any particular subject or any particular topic, you may comment down, so I'll provide the notes as well as I'll make the video on it. I'll explain it to you. And thank you, that's it for today. So I hope you like it. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. This helps me to grow. And take care of yourself. Bye bye.